My name is Heidi. We're here to explore metaphysical and holistic concepts with Leandra Murray this evening. And Leandra has come down from the hills in Montana to be with us, also to have an evening with the ancestors at the Feng Shui Center. And you'll be doing that again September of 2000.
That is correct.
We're pre-taping this so people can get to you later. And I wanted to ask what the Evening of the Ancestors is all about.
Well, the spirits have talked to me and asked that I do an evening with your ancestors. As I do my work and do sessions with people from all over, since I live in Montana, I would say 90% of what I do is via the telephone by locating to the client's space. So many windows open, so many doors, and beings come forward from the invisible realms. And Spirit began to talk to me about asking, when I work with someone, for their ancestors. I've had some real exciting experiences that I want to share part of with you. And they told me this would something that could be done in Missoula at the Feng Shui Center, and it's something that I should explore with Jonna about. And what I did, she was very excited about it. So we just simply began. We announced it, and we had 22 people show up for an evening with your ancestors. And what I do is I channel a transmission from different beings. Lately it's been the ancient ones. And then people and the audience will ask questions. And we never know. I mean, they will ask questions about a variety of topics. Some people will ask, would you talk to the Ascended Masters? And what do they have to say about my manifest? And then this informational channel through, some exciting things very specific to the person. For instance, when that question was asked that first time, some months ago, an astrological thing came up which might be of interest to you. They said to take the energy from your center point, and the energy goes up to their natal planet. And there was something, yes, and then this energy would come through them, and the Ascended Masters started opening energy grids. And activation of energy is something that I am known for. I can see the probability of the future, and then it is about changing it. Right. What does a person want? Removing blocks and then opening the opportunities. So many things have come out of it. Last time, someone asked about wisdom. How could they get more wisdom? And the ancient ones came through, and what happens is sometimes they stand next to me, sometimes I'm overlighted. People will see different colors depending on their own clairvoyant experience. Some people that have never had clairvoyant experience see those colors. It's better when it was darker in the evenings. Now we have a lot more light. But what happened to this person is they started talking about the pineal. And they said the pineal is actually is a master brain. Yeah. And I saw the pineal open. There was a red energy around it, spokes came out of it, and it began to expand and open. And later, one of the women said, I'm feeling a pressure right here, like almost light metal. And I said, it's because you connected with this, and what they were doing was actually opening the third eye and going clear through to the pineal. And this other person across the room, the people feel the energy. So what is happening is it's tremendous rush of energies that interplay. And because Spirit knows who's going to come, the questions that are going to be asked, and a lot of the people will change their questions as the evening progresses, and they'll talk about that. But it is all a great symphony to open people and bring them to their mastery. We've had some tremendous energetics open up from the ancient ones. The Ascended Masters, even Zeus showed up.
Oh,
that
really?
was kind of interesting.
I'll bet. How did he fit in the room?
How did he fit into me was really the question. And he wanted me to open much more. He was just quite insistent upon it, and to blow this air out on everyone. And I was kind of intimidated by this. Here I am in this group of people, and here's Zeus coming through me, and I felt like the wind of the north, like this. Oh, it was very, very powerful. And what that was about a woman who was asking a question about something, and Zeus came through and said, the reason you cannot have a physical relationship with a man that is whole is because you believe us to be myths, but in the unseen worlds, we have connected before, and we have been together. He had been intimate with her.
Wow.
And she could just, after having that kind of experience, it's very difficult because she carries that in her memory.
I want to ask you, if you, in a few minutes, if you can connect with some ancients while you're on the set. But before we do that, on a personal level, can you remember back 8-10 years ago, before you had these gifts? How does it feel in comparison to be so elastic with reality the way you are now?
What 8 or 10 years ago, what it does for me is a recognition of what my clients are going through. At least they're searching, and I wasn't searching. Mm-hmm. But I understand melancholy. Mm-hmm. I understand depression and not being able to figure out how to move out of it. Mm-hmm. It's so simple now. The things that would have been complex, I wouldn't even have known how to ask because I wasn't metaphysical. Mm-hmm. I did have a connection because I had a twin sister who drowned, and so I had that connection to the other side.
You felt her in spirit?
Yes, and but other than that, I mean, I'm so different. My husband says I'm about 5% of what I was, so that was a very frustrating, limited. I was happier than most people, I believe, but I didn't carry any of the bliss energies and the joy that I can bring forward now.
And do you ever get depressed now?
Very rarely. I will tell you one time I did.
Okay.
In fact, it was my first psychic show in Missoula. Yeah. And there was an aura photographer. And his girlfriend, she said she'd never done an exchange before, but she wanted to do an exchange for me. She wanted an activation. And I said, sure, and then I would get some auras. And so they said, well, you can't change your aura. And of course I did. I'd say, I'd hold this, and 1,000 points of light in oranges and yellows would appear above me. And I said to Spirit, I says, I want to see the angels in my aura. I want them delineated. I mean, and so I sat there. And it turned out, I was in my robes, and of course it was in a vest, but I had robes on. And you can see the robes. Yeah. And then there was this beautiful magenta with ascension rays coming up, and I'm just white, like a ghost, but not me. The other pictures, you can see my soul outside my body, which I'm sure is pretty typical for a walk-in. You can see the white here and then the flesh here. But that one, all you saw was white, and not this face. And Spirit said, you are an angel. And I also realized I was with the Space Command. I just knew some things about, when I looked at that depressed me, and it lasted about a half an hour. I wanted to go home. I wanted out. Before I was so excited about helping, and I wanted out. And this aura photographer came over and said, you're a wild woman, we need another picture. And when we did, there was a delineated, there was all these little beings around me, and in a manifest, and then around that was this beautiful turquoise, and you see angels in the turquoise. And then there were other energies beyond that. I was very depressed in that half an hour. I mean, I wanted to go. But other than that, I don't tend to get so down. And if I do, I know that it is entity, what I would call entity attachment. I mean,
what is that, entity attachment?
Well, all in the many, many worlds that are around us, we have beings around us all the time. Okay. And you have guides around you all the time. And you have entities that are dark. When you're depressed, usually it's not your energies. And this is why people that are into drugs, alcohol, or even live with someone and have intimate relations with them, they can pick up these energies. And when you get down, it's like your spiritual immune system gets down, and you can have things attach that need to be extracted, what the Tibetan shamans would say, extraction, to be removed. And sometimes I'll see people that are depressed, there'll be like an abyss open up, like a big portal right below their feet, and it's like if they take a step, they're going to go down in it. And based on the unseen worlds, They would, and they get very afraid, but they don't know why.
Right.
People that have panic attacks, they'll just be portals that open up, and they're connected. There's so many worlds, Heidi. I mean, the more I know, the less I know about these things.
Let me ask you to just move your microphone so we
Okay.
get all of your great voice.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
these entities, now, some people might, I mean, from a partially metaphysical thing, couldn't these entities be, you know, in your genetic code, like
Oh, sure.
injury done to your grandmother?
Oh, sure.
Things
You know,
like that.
the Native Americans talk about 7 generations forward. Well, there's 7 generations back, too. And so when you do that clearing and release work, you can go back 7 generations and go forward, because time is, as you said, talked about me being so elastic.
Right.
Time is elastic. And as we step here, we could change this portal about every 10 minutes that surround us to a different energy stream. Just what do we want?
Right.
Basically, we want light. We want peace and love. Those are the energies that I think are fulfilling and put people in a bliss energy, a joy energy.
Now, what is the shadow side? We all have shadow sides, and from what I understand, we're supposed to try to integrate those into our being.
Yes, I know that.
And this sometimes can be very counter
Yeah.
to the light,
Yes.
searching for the
Well,
light.
you know, that's real interesting that you bring that up, because I have read this and heard this, and because I thought, well, maybe I'm missing something, because the energy I work with is light, and that is what I focus on. And I thought, well, I'll try this. And I worked with it on and off. It got me depressed. It mucked up, you might say, my energy streams. And I thought, wait a second. Why do I need this? I feel very whole the way I am. Now, I look at shadow side differently.
Okay.
I look at shadow side as the Heidi that's here is also upside down, her feet here, in a different dimension beneath you in a bounced way, a shadow of you.
Okay.
If you're light here, the shadow is light in a balanced way. I'm just not into this. I'm not into processing even. I think that we are at a time of miracles, although there is going to be there's some heaviness going on now for, well, we're pretty out of it by July 15th. As of this taping, we're pretty out of that. But there's some heavy things that come over us, as you well know as an astrologer. I believe you can move yourself any place on this continuum. You can move yourself and plug in. And if you start, things come up, you can unplug and plug elsewhere. I know that karma things come up for people and they have to take care of them. But I see that even differently. Why can't we take care of them as a master? You know, the mastery formula is you start as the commander, the master, and then you're not plea bargaining, and then you move into releasing things from the mental, emotional body. You're not starting as a weak plea bargain energy here. You start strong. I just have I see things differently, and I think in the future, others will see the same. I think the world is not as we perceive it to be. We don't have to go through these heavy things. We just don't have to. Manifest is much easier than people perceive it to be.
So do you feel you're off the karmic loop now? And you're here mostly as a teacher?
I am here as a teacher.
And your personal stuff has been cleared by you and for you?
Just, I don't seem to have those difficulties. And, you know, just like anyone else, I would like to knock on wood about that, because I'm not interested in having those things. But life is pretty much as I would like it to be. You know, I have a partner, so you compromise when you have a partner.
Right.
And glad to do that. With the right partner, you're glad to make those compromises. I feel I'm at the right place at the right time. When I have something come up, and let's say I have something come up, I'm trying to think of something. Let's say I get sick.
Okay.
And I did. I got very sick after the eclipse last year in December. Very sick. What I do then is I will just clear things. But it's better to do it when you're strong. But it used to be that I would clear things about 2 weeks ahead. I would just clear things for myself. until I got so that things just kept moving right. But that illness that I had back in December, and it lasted 21 days. What it had to do with the adrenals, and there really was a butterfly transforming with its little feet in my adrenals, which hurt really bad into with my hip points. It hurt bad, really strong, and then up on the adrenals. And it was, I think all our organs are going to go through transformation. And that eclipse triggered that red moon eclipse triggered that. So things happen all the time. Nothing is as we believe it to be. And a lot of people went through that at that time. I was working with some people that said, my uncle, I think it was this uncle or someone had died of adrenal failure, and when he sensed that, he kept just praying to God. He had to clear himself about every hour or so. Never did tell his wife, and it did finally release. So people are having these things and not realizing it. We're going to see a lot more of it.
And I guess I'd like to bring in the ancestor part of the program. And I should let people know that we're taping this in the middle of June.
Okay.
And I want to ask whoever shows up about the energies of Missoula right now, and maybe for the next couple months or so.
I'm one they call Geno Alta. The energies of Missoula are transformative. For indeed, there is a great energy that now is coming. It is flowing now from both the north to the south. It is the energy of a great healing, a trail of light that comes from the crystal cities beneath and from the crystal streams and grids above. Those who are in their transitional grids will have crossing and crisscrossings of this crystal light. They will shine like transmitters to the heavens. They will attract many beings of light. The healing modalities will change here. There will also be a great tempest, like in a teapot, you might say. For things will get to be like a boiling point for some of the more negative spaced energies. I see portals opening and some darkness emitting and coming forward. Those of light would do well during this, especially solstice time, to set beacons of light completely along this corridor. Those of you in the crystal crisscross, these great grids of holy light can expand beyond measure. For it is like a great landing pad here in Missoula. Like you are on a spaceship pad. And you will feel the shaking of this energetically. We are feeling now these portals open that have already been prophesied. But they are changing even as they are given to you through transmission. During the next period of 5 months, especially the 3rd month, August, is great opportunity. It is opportunity to open your shells, your bodies, and allow these grids to come into you. For this will be an unparalleled center of healing in this valley, these valleys. And Missoula really is the heart of it, although some you have not understood that yet, but it will be. There's energies that need to be released for this to come forward, but the probabilities are quite high that this will happen. It is like there are tunnels beneath this city that need to have the breath of fresh air through them. And certainly, the powers are strong here among the light workers as more come all the time. As Jenna Alta, I am one of the beginners. And we are exalted to serve the people. The ancient ones walk beside you. They are almost double your height, maybe even a little more for you. And they bring you rings of light that they put around you. We will be seeing more of them. They will come in different colors, in neon, and you will feel them. You will begin to feel the beams of light that are going to come down over your body and into the earth. For it is only in the physical dimension that you are able to anchor these. And we are not talking 3rd physical dimension. We're talking 4th and 5th here. This launching pad that we speak of is because Missoula rises. Octaves rise. It is a hub, a center. There are some problems, but with our rings, we expect that you will bring these colors through your own energy pods, and the rays will go forward to others. And when we bring you a special one, this one is a purple light, and we now bring it to you over your body. And yours is a beacon for the work you do here. And it will attract more readership or listeningship, for they do read much more than they perceive with their eyes. And we anchor this within you. And so it is, and so it will be. Do you have another question?
What is Haba?
Haba. Haba is an energy that fills the heart. It is an instantaneous arena to move things from the heart chakra dimensionally as the best Arcturian surgeons. Just move it out. And as it does, it creates a space, a spatial point for you to open to things and create within them.
It helps us with that window of opportunity?
Yes. It is a sacred word of space-time. And it brings power to you once the heart is pure and cleansed of this tar substance that is dissolved and surgically removed so simply.
And when you said Missoula is the healing, almost an unparalleled healing center, is that in Montana, the country, or the world?
There will be centers throughout the world, certainly in Montana, depending on it is one of the strongest in this northern hemisphere.
Okay. And what's its specialty? What's the specialty of this center?
Healing of the heart.
Okay.
Compassion of the heart. And true releasing, because of that, of physical illness. It is like a spring within self that bubbles and flows over, so that those who are here as what you would call practitioners will open these things for others. And themselves. I see this great healing light bubbling up like Old Faithful. And it will be for those who are asked to stay and work in spirit with this healing light that is here. It is here and not activated. Just a small percentage is activated for what is coming.
And August will be a big activation month?
Yes.
And what does Geno Alta mean?
Geno Alta is Genesis, female goddess, and Alta, the feminine Grecian goddess energy. It is a feminine softness, you might say, that when brought forward within the one is like a Mary energy.
Okay. And to activate this, to become part of the grid, would you give different advice in general for men and for women about what we have to work with?
Yes.
Okay.
We have moved out of the dark times for the most part, and the goddess energy is arising. Men will struggle with the karma of being within the male body. And those men who step into the healing arts, the healing light, and sometimes they struggle more, for they are releasing the karma of the past. It is what they have chosen to do.
Mm-hmm.
It is much more difficult for men in general to grab the elusive goddess energy and bring it within themselves. Of course, there's a small percentage that have done this already. What is coming is that women will be the warriors. And it is not that you will be an Amazon with a sword in your hand of physical nature, but you will, as goddesses, protect your men, for they are vulnerable now, much more than has been for thousands and thousands of years on this world. It is the goddess that will be strong, and it will be the women who will protect the warriors of the past, the men. And in the same way, you can assist them. But it is the goddess that is arising. It is the feminine light, the nurturing, the maternal, the womb that is flowing now.
So is it intuition and courage that will be protective? What will the protection be like?
It'll be like a portal of light that is placed around the warrior.
Sounds like an inversion of the womb.
Excellent, excellent.
And why don't we extend this up north? You live north of here. Is there anything slightly different for up near that area in these coming months?
Yes. The energies are coming back. Just a moment. I'm going to talk about it as Leandra. Just a moment. Okay. Okay. Whew. Okay. Yes. The energies are different. On the reservation, there are incarnate beings, discarnate beings, so many, many spirits, portals of invisibility where the beings walk back and forth. And there's a lot of ancestors, like in trees. I mean, they're there. I mean, you see a grandmother with a bandana on in a tree. And it's the trees, they look like they get up and walk sometimes. They'll just pull up by the roots and walk. So there are many things in spirit that happen. And I think people can feel that when they go up into the glacier area, probably stronger. But in the mountains around, there's some very, very powerful energies as you go up the valleys toward Mission and beyond. There's energy of spirit stirring. In the prophecies, they have talked about, in the end times, the sharing of energies. And what I see happening is that there's energy of spirit that are now kind of overflowing the other way. When you think about it, the holy people of North America are the indigenous Indian populations.
Right.
And what we will be seeing, I believe, is an overlighting of sort of some cosmic galactic energies coming and flowing down very deep. And when this sparks, it's really going to be something, because that land has so much spirit already moving. And what I'm seeing is almost like the walls of Jerusalem, that water that came open, my biblical,
The Red Sea?
the Red Sea, and the walls coming open and this water standing, and then this new light just flooding, with the spirits who have assisted standing and watching and assisting. So it's going to be a blending of spiritual energies, perhaps different than what we perceive the prophecy to be.
And since you brought up the reservations and the Native Americans up there, nationwide, there's a lot of pain still held in the land.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
The way our ancestors came in.
Yes, there is.
Are we going to have to...
Transmute it?
Right.
Yes. This is quite interesting because I was asked to go back to Minnesota. I was at a walk-ins conference presenting, and I thought I was going to go, what I thought I was going to do was go to Iowa City and present, and I ended up going instead to before that, to a healing forum, I was exhausted. I was really exhausted. Sometimes I used to not sleep. I'd be up awake for hours, and days, because the energy was so strong. I can work with that better now. And so I was exhausted. It's been 3 days of this walking conference, high energy, and I was just tired. But my friends were presiding over this, and I went. And a chief came, and he walked among us. I couldn't see him. And this person says, Leandra? And I'm thinking, oh, don't ask me. I can't see this chief, and all these other people are around, and I don't, integrity. I don't want to do anything to make people think that you can't see, because I believe you. I just can't see this. But you kept talking to me about it. Well, it turned out that this chief came to me that night, and as I was going to sleep, a hawk flew over, turned into a spaceship, was black. The next morning, she came to me and said, Black Hawk, I'm supposed to tell you Black Hawk. Well, Black Hawk followed me into this journey as I went to Iowa City, and I took pictures, and the pictures would show these spirit beings in them, and everyone that came to me had to do with, well, what I was seeing when she was seeing the chief was water and fire, a cleansing of the land, and soap bubbles. All these little soap bubbles with happy faces on them. I couldn't figure it out. I was just kind of embarrassed that she was asking me about this chief, and I'm seeing soap bubbles, and I didn't talk to her about that till later. These people that came to me, one person lived on, it used to be a reservation. It was one of the first trading posts, and somebody had donated him a big drum. And he started talking to me about an experience. He's white in this lifetime, about an experience that he had. And with this experience, he said, I was walking along a road, and there was a dead eagle there. And I went over to pick a feather, and it became a man. Well, I had been driving along the road. I saw a golden eagle on the road. I thought, I should get a feather, and I thought, no, and I just kept going. So the things I was seeing in the journey, people were having the same visions, except they'd had them a long time ago. And it was cleansing everything. Even a woman came who, at the very end, who said, I don't know why I'm here, except I want to serve. And I said I would. And Spirit told me there was 3 people who had much more knowledge about it. But because she said she would serve, the others were busy. And when I was working with her, her nipple really hurt her. And it was about nurturing. It had to do with the children that had died. When we did this cleansing,
Bring your microphone.
when we did this cleansing, the hawks, 5 hawks flew around. And people would come to me that had a wedding ceremony with Black Hawk. I mean, they had all these visions. It all came together. And at the end, when we were done, that when this 3 days of all these people came, and I sat down and went into meditation, and I looked and I saw rows of Native Americans lying like this, interesting, with one feather, just lying in rows. And all of a sudden, they took cotton blankets, rolled them out over the Native Americans like they're at peace. And women from India were sitting facing me. This wasn't about me, but they were facing me in red, and they were praying. Well, Fairfield, Iowa is where I went next, and they told me, they said, oh, the red clothing is were high spiritual women who were praying. And it all went together. Spirit created this cleansing of the land. And I got to know Black Hawk quite well. I saw him, and he put feathers all down my arms, and he said, you will speak for me, white woman. Hold your head high, and they will know me by my scent. And all of a sudden, I felt my eyes turn like copper pennies, and this turquoise energy came off of me. And later, the owner's wife came down. She says, I've never smelled that incense before. And I said, that's Black Hawk scent. And so these things are very, very real. And so we are cleansing the land. And it is not that we're asking to. Spirit is choosing us, even if we don't understand it. Even if we don't understand it. But they're powerful, powerful things. Why are we chosen? I think it has something to do with purity. When we work at being pure, not holding energies, and I think people that are chosen don't ask. I mean, it's not something they're looking to do. They just are chosen.
We're going to take a break right now. When we get back, I'm going to ask you more about the choices and being a walk-in.
Okay.
So please stay with us. We're going to take a short break and come back with more wonderful information from Leandra Murray. Hi, thanks for staying with us, and I wanted to thank Rainbow's End for the beautiful outfit this evening. And I wanted to give you the number for MCAT if you have any video projects in mind. They're great helpers. The number is 542-6228, 542-MCAT. If you'd like to contact anybody with the show, any of the crew members, our number is 829-9162. And for my email, the address is htruog, T-R-U-O-G, @yahoo.com. And I'd like to have Leandra give you her phone number and website information. You have a new website going up?
Yes, I do. Well, first, the phone number is area code 406
Okay.
726-4412. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my website. It's medicinespirit.com, all small letters. And that name came to me here in Montana. Actually, the second night on the reservation, when a shaman came and gave me my name, Woman Who Teaches Medicine Spirit.
Ah.
And Spirit has been asking me for some time to do a website because I do symbols that people can touch and feel the energy from. And they said, we're going through a time to stabilize the energy is difficult. And if people had a symbol every month, based on the energies of that month, they could touch that symbol and assist themselves greatly in releasing things and bringing things forward. And then you called me and said, Leandra, we'd like you to do a monthly, I'm doing astrology and other people are doing these other things, and we just want you to talk about that month's energy. And I thought, okay, Spirit, I get the message. And so July, middle of July is when that will be up and running. It's we're in our pilot testing in this pre-tape period here.
Okay.
But by the time the readership hears it, there's a free symbol on the site. Then they can download it, put their hands on it, and feel the rush of ascension energies. And every month, just like you will be looking at what Pluto's doing, etc., I will be channeling a symbol. And we'll have that on the site that people will be able to subscribe to and receive. We'll see how it goes. Spirit, usually when they ask me to do something, it goes well.
Right. And it's medicinespirit.com,
just like it sounds, all one word.
Okay.
Okay?
That's exciting.
It is. It's real exciting.
And I want to talk about your walk-in experience. We talked about this a little bit when you helped birth the show back when you were
midwife, and that is some of the work that I do. I tend to be a midwife to some great energies, and I was very honored when you asked me.
It was wonderful.
Yes.
It was really spectacular. And I'm assuming that some people watching now didn't see that, so we
Okay.
can go through it briefly, but I really want to talk about especially what exactly is a walk-in?
Okay. Well, I belong to the Walk-ins which is Walk-ins International, Walk-ins for Evolution. And there are many people that come to these international conferences who have had many different experiences. And so I'll tell you about my own walk-in experience, and then we can talk maybe a little bit, if you would like to, about some other people's experiences.
Okay.
For my own experience, it really had to do with a labyrinth. And even before that, it was my identical twin came in a interaction with a man who at that time was my cousin. They got a divorce, and a lot of walk-ins do that. They will. But he was a walk-in. I didn't know that at the time. In fact, I didn't know that for a long time. And he said all of a sudden he was psychic and do readings, and I thought, oh, a free reading from this cousin. Oh, this is good. So I went there, and I was very nervous. I remember that. And he did psychometry, and he held my watch in his hand, and this energy came in, and when it came in, I knew it was my twin sisters. And all of a sudden I began crying, just crying and crying and crying, because I could feel the light on the other side, and I wanted to go. And anyway, some weeks later, all of a sudden he would set me at his right hand like I was some kind of lieutenant. And he'd ask me questions that I didn't know these answers to. I was quite nervous, but I was compelled to attend. We met every Sunday for a while, but it was like 3 weeks later. And evidently he went to a psychic church in Portland, Oregon, and unbeknownst to me, he had invited all these people and to come over from the church, and he had channeled this labyrinth. And he said, who would like to be first? And my hand went up, and I thought, what? And so my hand went up, and I walked through that labyrinth. And Spirit kind of told me what to do and how to do it, and all of a sudden, and people saw rose petals hitting me. And when I got through walking that labyrinth, I was different. I was changed. I can't tell you how blissful and happy I was. And I would put my hands on books and download information, and I could put my hand on a book and tell you no, yes. Yeah, and I just would pull this energy into myself. And I stayed awake for a long time at night, and I would watch things that were happening, like my light body. I saw from the ships, I saw ships, and from the ships there was this tube of light that came down, and there was all these musical notes, and then I realized they were people, and this was a transporting energy. I just got a tremendous amount of energy of what was going on, and I could heal. And at that time, I was an administrator. So people would come in with labor and industry issues, and I'd put my hands on them, you know. And my husband would say on Fridays it was like the army, because people would line up outside that door to come in for healings. And
wow.
if somebody said they had a headache at a table or a meeting, I would just, and they'd say, well, it's gone, you know. And so I was just really into that flow. And I would see portals, and I would see beings come out of them, and I realized that anywhere I was, after over a 24-hour period, a portal would open. You might say I'm a master portal person. And I understand portals, I understand boundaries, and I create and work with them. And it's just who I am.
Now, a portal brings in light beings?
A portal can bring in any beings.
Okay.
And at that time, because I didn't purposely set the portal up, these weren't light beings. They were they were sort of. They were interested beings from other systems that, oh, here's this portal, and they would come through. Mm-hmm. And they kind of were interfering with staff that I was working with at that time, and I was very shocked. And I understood boundaries very quickly, and I took care of it. It just, you know, once these keys of knowing are opened, you just do it.
Now, I've heard of portals where humans can walk through,
mm-hmm.
time portals,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes there's confusion about how to get back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you work with those as well?
I've had some experiences. I was thinking about it the other day about I've seen people on a glass mirrored wall screaming, where they have kind of gone off too far, and a part of them has fractured off and are behind that wall. Of course, you release them and get them back. Yes, I would say yes. I would say absolutely yes on what you're talking about. Any portal. Any portal. That's basically what I work with, is portal energy.
Portal energy.
Mm-hmm.
And
for instance, would you like to see?
Yes.
Okay. What I will do is just set something different around you. Now let me think of what I want to set. This will be just a simple, I'm going to bring more of yourself, like a higher part of you. I'm going to connect with the future, and I'm just going to do it. And so it is. Now, what are you feeling?
It's like somebody just sat in my lap.
And feel the energy anchoring you to the earth. Mm-hmm. That's manifest. That's how manifest feels. In order to manifest the physical, you have to be connected with the earth plane. Many of us walk-ins are really notorious for being out of their bodies. They only connect to about here. You have to learn to stay in your body. So what we've done is I've just brought part of yourself as an oversoul, your oversoul, and I've lighted you and brought more into you. Now I'll bring even more. And I've just attached it to your feet. And so you're now reaping the benefits of a Heidi who is from a parallel universe. She's about 3 years out, you 3 years in the future, healthier, stronger, into that light energy, and now into your body. Now I will connect you to more soul family. I'm just opening your heart, and I'm asking them to come around you.
Soul family.
Soul family. Now feel how you feel. Feel the warmth in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like these lines, they just have lines to you, and they're just lifting you and saying, we love you. And some people, when they feel that, aren't real happy about coming back out of that, because you're not alone. You're truly not alone. And some of that soul family are here, and some of them are on the other side, what we might consider the other side.
It feels like my base chakra is really spinning.
Yes, and we're anchoring you in a different way, and now what I'll do is just start changing and moving that energy through you. And what I'm going to bring to you is sort of an abundance portal. And you can't, not like that one, yummy. Okay, so we'll just bring that in, and I'm just going to set those energies, and I'm going to take a peek at you. And so it is, in holy light, that we bring these things to you. Now I can feel you expanding. I mean, you're buzzing, but in a very different way of buzzing. It's like you're solid as you're manifesting in this earth plane and creating. And if you looked in the mirror, your eyes are very shiny.
Really?
Yeah. It's just a different energy. I mean, you can activate anything. Person can act, I believe. I don't know too many people that do it, but I do.
Yeah.
You know, it's what I do. Yeah. We'll just
Thank
let that settle around you for a while. And when they're ready to move away from you, we will allow that, and the boundaries and everything will seamlessly work. You've got some things in your heart they're working on.
Now, your psychic abilities, it seems like you jumped immediately out of self-interest into the very, very far beyond with your psychic abilities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was, as I said, my husband thinks I'm 5% of who I was. And usually walk-ins leave their spouses.
Mm-hmm.
I am so fortunate because I have a very supportive husband who likes to stay home. So when I come home, you know, the log house, the fire's burning, the dogs are happy, and he's happy to see me. And I think Spirit was very understood. I had 2 other times I could have come into the earth plane. This was the last time for that exchange to take place. So I was much more cognizant. It was, I had to be, because they put me into missions right away, into doing the work I had to do, and jolting some people that were pretty spiritual into just opening them in different ways. And it was very interesting. It was very interesting.
Just as an aside for people who are the least bit interested, my digestive system seems to be amping up.
Yeah.
It sounds strange. I've never really had this feeling before.
Well, what's happening is what I asked was a future you that was even healthier than you now.
Yeah.
And so we're just healing and revamping everything. At a DNA level, you actually are into an ascension process, and you will actually feel, even though you're manifested deep into the earth, you will feel lighter. I mean, you're going to just feel this lightness about you. I mean, it truly changes people at a, what I would say is just a wondrous level. And I call it grace acceleration. There's just something, you know, I mean, Spirit is sending people here to the planet because it has to happen. We've got to do it quickly. And so what happens is now you connecting with other people, little symbols will jump off your body and you will start igniting other people. And that's how it happens all over the world as we bring these things through. Because you have unique, special Heidi gifts that you have. And of course they jump out into right through that television set to your audience too.
About the soul family, and it's still on me here.
Okay.
But I think I know a couple people that are in my soul family that I've met on my planet. I'm pretty sure my brother's one of them. Do you have any idea about others?
That are on this planet?
Mm-hmm.
I feel there's 4 that are incarnated on this planet. I believe your brother it is correct that your brother is one of them. There is, I believe you may have someone in Florida. And interestingly enough, Iceland means someone way up. Do you get cold? I mean, if you connect with them often, you might.
I do.
Yeah.
And we recently met a couple people from Finland.
Interesting.
Maybe.
There are no accidents. And there's one other that feels like more of a hot climate. But my arms are just burning. They have carpal tunnel, whoever they are. Maybe England.
Maybe England.
Mm-hmm.
They're spread out.
They're spread out.
How do we meet?
You don't need them.
I don't need them.
You don't
Is that
need them.
what happens? Okay.
Sometimes you will meet and sort of fall in love, and then it's a cross, what they call star-crossed, that you're not supposed to be intimate with these people in this lifetime, although you're so attracted energetically, but it's not to be. So it's always as it is to be. Always. There are no accidents. The mastery, when you understand it, you understand anything that happens is what is supposed to happen. Everything. And you have co-created it all. You know, along with many others.
Have I met the person in England? I'm sorry for interrupting. No. Okay.
No. And I feel like it's a woman.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe someone 42, 45, it feels like.
Okay.
Yeah, a scholar.
And now,
Professor.
when you had the walk-in experience, that's basically another soul.
Okay. Let me explain that a little bit.
Okay.
Because it took me a long time to understand it. What happened to me was what I tell walk-ins, because people get really upset about this. Oh, how do I reconcile all these things? And what I realized is, I'm so happy. Why would would I fuss? No matter what happened, why would I be unhappy about it?
Mm-hmm.
And what I tell them is, we are all moving toward God's source. So, you are you. At this level way up here, you are you. I am you, you are me, we are one. So, is it another soul? Well, yes, but it's still you.
Okay.
It's still a part of you, that particle that is you. And what happened to me was, I am overlighted. I am overlighted. And it just happened. And then what happened is the other part of me that was within went to school. And I'm one of the lucky ones. Went to school. And in learning and lessening, and then to come back and join me. And actually that just happened last year. So now there's like, well, I have my twin and my past, you might say, and myself in my oversoul lighting, but all in the one. So, and many others, of course, because we're all overlighted from time to time and just have to understand the connection. Other walk-ins have an experience and they're just like, how can I get rid of this other person? Because indeed, I was nervous about the other me coming back.
You were?
Attaching. Well, yes, because I thought, I remembered the trials and the issues. But, you know, schooling helps. And it was a pretty high road. So, and now I feel like I have these great servants, you might say, or helpers who are helping me as I am helping them. And that's for me what's happened.
So,
my crystals have changed inside of me. I shall say that.
Yes.
The crystals that are within you. Just like you're talking about your digestive. Can I touch you?
Sure.
Okay. We could just open a crystal here. I could just open this for you. And I'm going to open a green one. Feel yourself expand through your feet. And then I'm going to take 3, and then I'm just going to move them just slightly in a different alignment.
I feel like it's going to help me dance.
Actually, I saw this in a woman over in Spain, and she was in the theater. She's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I just thought this would be good for you.
Thank
So
you.
it would not surprise me at all that your theater, all those arts open for you. And there's 3 green crystals, and we just change the cogs just a little bit.
Wow.
Pretty large ones. Yeah. Clairvoyants would see you if they looked in a certain way as these crystals.
Really?
If they were 22.
Now, I've never heard about this.
Well,
How many crystals does it take to make a person? How many do we have in us?
well, at least 144,000, because there's 144,000 points of light
Okay.
in each person. And so what crystals do you want to bring forward? What crystals do you want to activate?
Now might be a good time to see what's in your bag,
Oh, let's do this.
since we're mentioning this.
Okay.
Leandra brought some goodies.
Yes, I thought people might be interested in this. I've only taken it on a plane once, but it registered on the scanner. I think they thought that because it has copper and things that I was bringing some bomb on the plane. So I don't take travel
In a way,
with
you were an awareness bomb.
Absolutely. That's excellent. That's excellent.
That is beautiful.
Actually, this was gifted to me. It's a Metatron energy, and Metatron is an ascended master. He's just such a powerful being, and to me, he's a great initiator. And this is really a generator crystal, and I've used this in ceremony in Sedona and around the mountains here. It's very, very powerful. And I suppose, I mean, there's all kinds of different things on it, but what we could do is perhaps do ceremony for the audience.
That'd be great.
What do you think?
And this goes through time and space.
It goes through time and space. So they're telling me just to turn this now. I'm turning it. And then I'm going to point this at the power center, kind of right here at the midsection, and setting a portal of light that goes out to the audience. And what I'm hearing is holy, holy, holy. I feel this Metatron. Are you sensing this?
Yes.
This Metatron energy coming down around us. And I'm assuming the camera crew feel it. We're getting a yes. And people in the audience, just open to this light as it comes around you. You're overlighted by Metatron. We're bringing that energy to you. And my hand's almost shaking because it's so strong. So let's just ask for a few miracles of adventure to come into each person's life that's in the audience. And let this energy then move to others. And the audience should be feeling their toes tingle, their thighs, the energy just running through them in really pure circuits of light. Okay, and so it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now at this end it looks like a Merkaba.
Yes, this is a Merkaba energy at this end. And so my sense is this is more of a space travel energy.
That makes
And
sense.
as I touch it, do you feel your heart energy, something happen within your heart, right in here? That space, can you sense that? It's like they're taking us and we're getting smaller. Can you feel yourself? And it's not being minimized, but it's smaller, like for travel. Let's talk about, well, let's not talk about, but it's like a black hole, dark star energy where you just move through. Some people call them wormholes. And someday we'll just think, and we will be with such intent and focus of purity that forget cars and planes, and we just won't have that. We'll just think and focus, and we'll be where we want to be.
Now is that what a wormhole is? Is a portal a travel portal, or?
Certainly.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yeah.
my husband, this is a 3D Merkaba, but you'll often see a 2-dimensional Merkaba on a piece of paper. In fact, my husband has a flattened crystal with the shape of a Merkaba. And he recently heard about the spaceship thing, you know, the 2 discs. It's the very common type of shape for an extraterrestrial ship. And he intuitively thought that those were 2 Merkabas spinning.
When you say it, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
So this is a very powerful shape.
It's a very powerful shape. And of course it's pyramids. And the pyramid shape energetically is tremendous. We don't, see it as much as we could.
And maybe we could get a close-up on your medallion,
Oh, okay.
which has that same
Can you?
shape.
Oops, let me hold it so that it's up, right. It's the triangle with the
There you go.
eye, the third eye, and this has an amethyst in it.
It's really
And
beautiful.
I have seen, sometimes I'll just see eyes coming at me, just eyes within this very shape.
Yeah.
And in fact, on the website, this is, except the pyramid opens. And the walk-ins, when I presented this to them, said, "It's open sesame," and they could feel the crown just zoom.
Okay.
More enlightened people, because they've worked at it or they've had experiences, they just get that clairvoyant energy, and we're all moving toward that. We're all moving toward it. People just are so intellectual. They perceive that they have less gifts. We all possess so many, and every person is so very, very unique for what they bring. A lot of people can't figure out, well, what is it exactly? You just do what you do, and those things come to you. The more synchronistic, the greater the adventure, the more the miracles happen, you're right in your path. And Spirit shows us, and the clouds show us. On the license plates, they tell us. I mean, to me, it's so obvious what's going on.
What's our resistance to that? Why is it when things are moving really smoothly, we say, okay, this is a little too smooth, I'm going to stop it right now?
I don't know why people would do that. My issue about manifest is is balance. It's not an issue for me about manifesting abundance. The issue is to not have so much that I get tired. I want it to be exciting all the time. I want the miracles to keep coming. And if I overwork, then it's not fun. And so it's like, okay, I want something, let's say. Maybe I want to take a trip. Go to the Logic Glacier, let's say. Well then, or Spirit usually does it when they want me to take a trip. Because some people, you know, they do this thing where Spirit will say, go to you'll hear something that you have to do something. And then they'll say, oh, well, Spirit wants me to do this, and then they go, and then they view their credit cards, and they get more and more into debt. Well, I tell Spirit, you want me to go there? Well, you have to show me some signs that you want me to go there. And so what is the synchronicities? And then I expect that my trip's going to be paid for before I even get there. It's just an expectation. And I know that it's right because all of a sudden the clients will come, and my clients in other parts of the world pay more than my Montana clients.
Right.
It's just something I do. And so when those start coming, I know that Spirit has something in mind. But I also can ask and do that same thing. I wouldn't want to ask for so much that I'm so busy that I can't play. I mean, you have to have balance. So if I get too busy, then I'll say, I'm tired. Then the manifest will slow. Then you have to generate it again. So if you can, once you get it up, you just work with it in a balanced way.
That makes a lot of sense.
It really does. But it's learning. But every week you never know. But it always works. I mean, that's what I find, it always works. Because I just don't have any doubts about it. I know how it works. And you start with the simple things like, I expect a parking spot right in front, kind of thing. And once you get those and start asking for other things that you don't doubt so much. I don't know why people would think, I asked for more miracles. At the Watkins conference last time, my topic at the dinner tables, and we kind of group, was miracles. And some of them call me Miracle Maker. And it's just something I believe, I just believe it.
Right.
And because I believe it so strongly, it happens. You know, I know these, I think someday we will, I keep seeing this miracle caravan of healers. You know? In the South, we go down and enjoy the sunshine and heal. And we come back here in the
that's
summer.
fun.
Yeah.
I want to backtrack a little bit in case anybody is still a little bit confused about the walk-in.
Okay.
So you basically have two spirits working within you, two main spirits. Your birth spirit.
Well, I would say
and another
that I
soul?
have one spirit working within me.
Okay.
That's what I would say. But I think the physical body needs that natal being to anchor and assist. And because a lot of walk-ins' physical bodies aren't so great. They really struggle.
They do.
Oh yeah, they struggle with their physical body. So for me, it's a matter of just bringing that back and being comfortable that I can, and that I'm not going to go back into karmic overload in any way. And if I'm nervous at all about it, I really sit back and look at that and say, no, that's not really what's happening here. If things do come up, I try to examine what it is that's coming up and figure out how I can release it. And one of the ways I do it is I say, oh, thank you for this experience. It is completed. Because I show gratitude that it's completed,
Right.
not go into fear. Fear is the big energy drainer.
And that's
It's
what the
fear.
whole planet's working to
Transform.
transform.
Absolutely. And we're seeing many, many beings of light helping us with that.
Yeah.
I just don't believe you have to get mired in it. And maybe it's just my mission that I don't have to. But why would you choose that? Why don't you just step up an octave and move out of it? Like, just step up. And then if you step back, you're going to say, oh, I'm mired. Step up again. Kick the clay off your feet and just walk on this new higher octave path. I say that having done it, but I remember being in that lower octave. I remember it. You know, it's not something I would focus on, but I can remember it's difficult. It's a difficult thing because you really have those energies can close in on you, and it's like anything you do doesn't work. I mean, that's what it seems like at the time. Yet, the guidance is all around you telling you what to do, but you're telling them what to do. And what you're telling them is, oh, I really got a problem. You know, how am I going to pay the rent? I really got to. They said, oh, she really has a problem. She can't pay her rent. Well, let's bring more of that to her so she can learn about that lesson. Instead of saying, oh, things are really getting better, and you know, I have employment, and I thank you for this. I can see these things, the rainbow colors coming. I see it, and it seems so simple to me. I know others struggle, but they won't. Someday they won't.
And I think for the last thing we'll talk about is, can we together send out some light to help other walk-ins with their health and their awareness?
Wonderful.
Okay.
What a wonderful idea. Okay. That is a really great idea, because I believe walk-ins are from the future. And they come here to bring great things. So what I'd like you to do, Heidi, is let's do the pyramid energy. And let's just focus on the camera here.
Okay.
Okay, now what I'm going to bring you into your hands is a dimensional light. You're going to feel energy come in through the spine, to the back of the head, and your arms are going to start going, ooh. You're going to feel this tingling and moving through you. And we are just bringing this high dimensional light. It feels like 9th dimension to me. That's completion. And we send this to the walk-ins, and this is so wonderful, to their physical bodies in connection to keep them healthy with great light. I'm seeing purple colors especially, with some blues coming through. So we send this light to them. For those of you who have had transformation experiences, accept this light too. We're going to above and beyond now. I feel like we're kind of up on a little pedestal. They're moving us up. I'm not as anchored as I was. And we're bringing this energy from any dimension. I feel like we're at 55th now. And we're just bringing it through. And I'm going to just move it through. Right to holy light. To the walk-ins. To the future. Let the evolution of the planet begin a spiral in the now moment of holy light for each and every one, bringing the oversoul energies to everyone of light, so that you may touch it, feel it, and be in a world of manifest and light. And so it is. How did that feel?
That felt great.
Yeah.
That felt powerful.
It's powerful. It is. Thank you for asking about
Leandra.
that. That's really wonderful.
Good.
It will
Glad
be
to get
well
that other-
received, and you'll receive a lot back from that, from the group mind.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything to release some of the pain, you know. Why don't you give your email and your,
Okay.
or, I'm sorry, your website and your phone number again?
Okay. Telephone number is 406-726-4412. My website is medicinespirit.com. Connect, feel the energy, and feel the love.
Thank you very much,
Okay,
Leandra.
you're welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for being with us this evening.